Hey guys, if you know me, you know that I love Lily Pulitzer. She is one of my favorite designers. Her prints are so fun and perfect for Florida. Also, if you're like me, you love her agendas. Here you go. I have not only have them for every year, but I have probably 6 of them laying around. So someone suggested that I do something with them instead of having them just sit around on a bookcase. I'm gonna show you what I did with my old agendas. I started making these coasters with the agenda pages. So I have a pop of white on this one with some background on the edges and the print all the way on this one. So check it out and watch how I do it. Hey guys, I'm going to show you a super fun craft project that I did with my old Lily Pulitzer agendas that I had laying around. Actually, a friend suggested it on one of the Lily boards that I belong to on Facebook, and I thought, you know, I have a bunch of agendas, let me try this out. So here's my current agenda. I'm not going to do anything with that. Here's a stack of some of my old ones. First thing I did was I took apart my oldest one from 2015 to 2016. Some of you may have this at home, remember this print. And I just ripped the wiring off and I have all these beautiful pages. So you notice with the agenda, a lot of them have these detail pages on the side. Those are fun to make little details along the coaster. And you have like a pop of color. But what I'm going to show you today is how to take the full pages like this in between the planner. So for January, for example, this is the print, and I'm going to make a coaster. So what you need to do is you need to get some white tiles. You can find these at Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. You need to buy Mod Podge. I say the bigger the better so you can craft more. You want to buy some foam brushes to put the Mod Podge onto the tile with. You do need some scissors. And if you're just going to be doing squares only, you want to get an X-Acto knife, but be very careful because this is a razor, so it's really sharp. And along the way, I figured out I needed some more tools. So through process of elimination, I knew I needed to roll the material down so it wasn't bubbling and getting funky. So I found this Mod Podge roller, and it came with this little tool to help smooth it down. And lastly, after you put the final coat of this on, you want to spray it down. So, should we get started? Step 1, once you have decided which pattern to use, now the fun begins. Make sure you have some old magazines laying around. This may be hard for some of us because print isn't a big deal anymore, but luckily my mom always has old magazines for me, so thank you, Mom. I've chosen my pages. Now, this Florida sun looks fun, so I want this to be the focal point on my tile, which is going to be my coaster. So I'm going to move all these supplies out of the way because I want to use as much of this agenda as possible. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have already used my agenda 2015, 2016. Now I'm going to repurpose it. Look, husband, I'm saving money. Isn't that great? Aren't you happy I'm saving money? So we're going to take the tile, and what we do is I'm going to flip it upside down to get a good measurement. So I'm going to use it along the edges. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, make sure I'm working on top of this magazine. Now, you might have a more professional craft space. I'm just a beginner here, so I don't have a craft room or a craft table. So this old glass table, we want to make sure it's protected. So I have my little X-Acto knife. Go ahead and take this cover off. And we're just going to cut around the tile. Now, if you're not comfortable with an X-Acto knife, you can also just use a pencil to draw outline and then use sharp scissors to cut it. But this works really well. You just have to be careful and pay attention. So don't get off track like I do. We've had a lot of time of our hands sitting at home, and I found this project to do, and it just made me happy. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. So you might want to clean it up a bit, but that's the outside, and it's actually the back of my calendar. So this is funny, I wrote things tutor, football game. Okay, but anyways, you get the point. So we're gonna clean it up here. I'm gonna save this because we're gonna use the rest of that probably. Just gonna clean up the edges because when you put them on the tile, you don't want any rough edges. You don't want any imperfections sitting on your right tile. Okay. Now this does get a little bit messy, so you may want to have a towel, paper towel, be by a sink to wipe things off. I'm going to take probably the bigger foam brush to start, And you don't want to be shy with this. So again, I've learned a lot of things through process of elimination. You want to be generous when applying the Mod Podge, and you want to put it on the back. So one of two things. You can just simply paint the tile, which I think I'll do that today. Sure, why not? Paint the tile. Smells like old school Elmer's glue. You guys remember that from like kindergarten days. Oh, there's our little stray cat saying hi. Hi, buddy. Okay, so now that that's all painted, I'm gonna put this down here. And we have our little square. Place that on top, focusing again on the edges because this is where it always lifts up. And this is where I learned you have to be really careful with the application. You wanna keep your strokes even, going in the same direction. You wanna make sure the edges stay down. So I'm going to start by taking the Mod Podge. I love that, Mod Podge. My son Braden, he's 9, he says Mod Podge, but you get it. Just gonna go along the edges really well. Make sure you're going in one direction. I also learned the hard way when I was doing it the first time with him. We were just kind of all over the place, and it left kind of a funky design. Now you also might want to do 2 coats of this. I've done at least 2 coats of this. So I'm just showing you the first coat now. After you have enough of this Mod Podge down, make sure again you're focusing all on the edges. This is where the tools come in. So we're gonna put that here, and we're gonna get this little handy dandy roller, and we're just gonna be gentle so we don't roll the paper off, because I also learned that the hard way. Just going to gently roll it down to make sure the paper is nice and smooth, and this thing is awesome, by the way. And I'm going the same way, and you'll see some leftover Mod Podge. And then we also have this tool. Smooth it down. Now we're gonna let this coat dry for 30 minutes, and then we're going to come back to a second coat after that dries and all the sides are going to be down and make sure it's in place. I'm going to do my finishing spray, and there you have it. It's a super fun craft. So let's check back and see what happens for the next step. I love Lily. Her prints are so fun. They're vibrant. It's Resort 365. Who doesn't want to be in a resort 365 days of the year? I sure do. Take this cat off the shoulder top in navy. Pairs well with the fun print, the skirt that I have on, and it's complemented with my Tori sandals. Can't go wrong with Tori. And these fun earrings that are also Lily just top the outfit off. I really had fun making these coasters with you guys. I can't wait to see your final results. What I recommend doing is taking 4 coasters, getting some pretty ribbon, bundling them up, giving them to a neighbor, a friend, coworker, teacher. Go ahead and spread that Lily love. Happy crafting, guys.